Alright, time to tear apart Gregory again. This time we're going to tear up the floors. Before anybody starts kvetching, no, I'm not going to do any bracing of this thing because damn near everything's rusted through already. There's nothing to brace. The door is all aligned properly, so we're not even concerned about that. But onward to the video. Hey, welcome back to DuckmanCycles and VW Garage. I'm your host, the Duckman. And this is...
McGee.
Tits McGee and I are...
Baby Queen.
Yeah, okay. I thought I had a new co-host there for a second. But we're here to work on Gregory the bus. B is actually going to be working on our Karmann Ghia concurrently while I'm doing this here. So we're going to try something different and try to record two videos at the same time. You probably won't be able to watch them at the same time. They're not going to both be edited in the same video exactly. But we're doing something a little bit different here. But what I'm going to be tearing up today is the inside cargo floor of the Volkswagen bus. It's something that I wanted to jump into. I probably need to finish up the front end, but I'm a little bored with that. I want to get a good look and see what's going on the cargo floor. I've got most of the pieces to repair it. So let's start cutting some stuff up and see just how bad it is. B, you might even be running the Sawzall again a little bit. If you find time. If you don't, well, you're just going to be working on your Karmann Ghia. No. As always, licky, likey, comment, subscribe. Pluck the dingle belly, that way you get updates every time I upload a video. Check out duckshit.net for all of our different social media links. I have some, you have some, we have some. Subscribe to us on Patreon, support our channel. Throw us a bone on PayPal if you're feeling so cool for it. If not, send me an email, DuckmanCycles@duckshit.net. Love to hear from you, so if you got a question, we'll try to answer it in some of our videos coming up. Anyway, we'll be back right after the intro. Alright, in here we got a whole bunch of tools and things that we're going to use to chop up this floor. I started to already make a couple of pilot cuts just to see what we're going to run into. There is a framework that runs through here very similar to a ladder shape. It's probably about 6 ribs going this way, and then there's 2 main pieces of frame that run this way. There's also some e-brake cables, hoses, tubes, shifter, just there's stuff underneath this floor, and we're kind of plunging into it blindly to remove these sections as best we can. Now the goal is to remove them in large pieces, and then once we've got the largest pieces removed, then get in there with the air hammer and chip the rest off, and then we'll figure out if there's any more damage that we're going to have to fix after which.
Oh, it's bent, that's why.
The condom is falling off too. I hate that thing.
No.
Piece of shit condom. There you go, rip that out of there. Very nice.
Clean. Oh, that's what I was hitting. Okay.
Are you hitting the frame on the end?
Yeah, there's like a
dude?
cut around it.
That was a 45, but still effective. Look at that. Show us your prize. Oh, that's my prize. Well, that's the prize of the viewers. Careful when you got your foot in them holes there, because that's sharper than the Ghia stuff that you were cutting at.
Yeah.
In fact, I wouldn't even recommend stepping in there at all.
There's a little bit that didn't want to cut through.
It's alright, we'll chipping hammer it out of there. Yeah. Looks like you've done pretty well. Well, keep on going.
This way or
Yeah, pick a direction.
Okay.
Whichever way you want to go.
Trying to go around it.
Yeah, you gotta come up higher. Tip it like, you gotta tip the entire saw that way.
Yeah?
No, That's how you bend the blade. Tip it that way. Right. That way it won't cut as deep.
Okay.
Be careful with that too. Very close to where that hole is over there. It'll probably go all the way back until you get close to hitting something. Now be careful, that e-brake cable runs through there too, right about where you're at.
Right there?
Yeah, right about there.
Should I cut this way and then try to cut around it?
Do you see the e-brake cable? I'm pointing to it?
This?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's running at that same angle.
Okay.
Continuing that direction. So you're right about at it. You might even be starting to cut it. So tip the blade back again and try to avoid it.
That?
Yes. Real shallow cut.
Stop moving.
And put the blade in the hole. Just kind of slot it in, push it in as far as you can. Now lay the saw down on the floor. Right, and then cut that way. Stand it back up now. And keep the saw pressed into the floor if you can. Watch the foot. The foot is all bent out of shape there. It's touching the floor. There it is. Now you're flat. The tighter you can keep the saw to the floor, the better it's going to cut. You're doing very, very well.
I thought you were talking about my foot. I was like, what?
No, your foot's fine.
You told me I have candy feet.
Candy feet. Are you hitting something?
Yeah, it doesn't want to cut there.
No, you might be hitting something.
That's what I'm thinking.
That, oh, you're digging into the frame.
Uh-oh.
Pull the trigger on the saw while you pull it out. There
Oh, okay.
you go. Be very careful of the light overhead.
Okay.
Actually, I have a video from last October where I pulled the string to turn it on and the whole light came down and hit me in the head, and it was not staged.
Oh, no.
It just kind of happened, and it was really funny.
I wonder if I could just like kind of pull this up and get started on
You
this.
can try. You can try. You might have to dig in the side of it with a tool. I think the orange handle has a hook on the end of it. It's not what it's meant for, but that's what they use it for. It's a sword clip tool. Hook it, pull it straight towards me. There you go. That's good. I should be able to get the blade underneath it now. Awesome. What happened? You bust the blade off?
It's just bent.
Oh, it's fine.
Okay.
It's just a tip. Just a tip.
Just a tip.
Got it.
Yay!
Get the blade on the other side of there. No, you didn't even nick it.
Woo!
I actually did worse than I did it myself.
Well, you warned me, so
Yeah. You're doing very, very well.
thank you.
Just careful on that saw blade because you're kinking. Tip the whole saw over. You got the actually the blade's kind of angled.
Yeah, I told you.
Gently touch it. See how hot it is.
Ooh.
All right, tell you what. Just give it to me. Let me fix it.
Okay.
Well, I think I made some pretty good progress in here. B had to go take a phone call, so I took over and I knocked this whole thing out in about 15 minutes. I've still got some more very, very obviously to cut through around here. I gotta take out this piece, and I don't know how much of this has to come out. Probably all. I'm not sure about the little door catch here for the little latch pieces that go in, because my replacement floor pan doesn't have that. It's just like a cutaway. So I don't know what's going on with that, but we'll have to figure that one out too. This cross member through here is pretty damn rotten. Pretty rotten. So that's something I'm going to have to deal with once we get the rest of the floor out. And then of course the little walk-through area, I'm going to cut that out too, because I also have a replacement part for it. Once that's all exposed, we're going to figure out what we got to do in there, and I'm suspecting it's going to be pretty bad. Pretty bad. But the rest of the frame looks great. I mean, it looks really good. It appears somebody else had painted it at some point, which may have done a lot to protect it over the years. It's a very soft-feeling, very flexible paint. I don't know what kind of paint it was, but it may have done a lot to protect it from the rust. And, of course, the heater tube, well, I didn't cut it. It just fell off. So I'm actually going to be just yanking that out and getting rid of it. I will not be reinstalling heat in the stock form in this vehicle. Of course, this is a Florida car. Yeah, I do plan to travel with it. But I think I'd rather just go with one of those diesel kerosene heaters like Wild Bill has. And if you haven't seen that video, yes, a few videos back, well, even I'll highlight it right here in this video. But I'll find a place to hide the thing in this vehicle, and I'll make it work that way, because it's just much more efficient, and it just seems much more practical if I need it while I'm traveling. Plus, you don't have to run the engine to have heat. Well, that's it for now. Let's go see what B is doing, because I hear her back scrubbing in the Karmann Ghia. Alright, how's it going, B?
Coming. Almost done wire brushing.
Wire brushing in there, cleaning up that side. This side you've already got painted from the last time we were working on this.
Yep.
And I guess you also re-scrubbed it then, huh?
Yeah, I just gave it a wipe down.
So you cleaned up all the crap on that side too, and that's what you're doing on this side, is preparing it for paint, right?
Yep.
Now I've got most of it welded in. There's a couple spots I just want to touch up. Yeah, right up in the front area there, you can see a little light coming through it, because the panel actually turned out to be just a little bit short. Whoever manufactured it actually didn't manufacture it quite perfect. And I mean, it was a hair short, just like not even a 1/16 of an inch. So I was able to just, you know, weld through the gap and close it up. So I'm going to hit in there a little bit more. But you're going to clean this one up here, and we're going to start on some paint.
Yep. Yes.
Well, we are working on 2 projects concurrently. Show me your 2 projects. Those of you that have watched some of my earlier videos may remember that I don't have any plans of putting heat back into this bus, and where I moved all the heater vent stuff. Well, that's the heater tube that delivered the heat from back in the engine up to the front compartment. While I was sawing in here, and no, I didn't even hit it, because it's so far below the floor that the saw blade wasn't even going to get to it. But it just fell off in the front. So as I started to poke at it, it just broke off in the back. It's actually rusted right through. Just totally shot. This thing is extremely brittle. There's just not much left of it. It's full of holes. I mean, just full of holes. There's no sense in me trying to keep that. So either way, it had to come off, and I'm glad it's gone. It just broke. Look at this. Wow. Unbelievable. Well, I started to get a better look in here in this area, and it turns out that all of this needs to come out. The outer, there's an inner, and everything up to the beams. The beams themselves that are holding this up, all these cross members are actually all good, except for the one in the front. The back one's still debatable. I might need some outrigger or something on the end. But these sections right here all need to be cut out. So I'm literally just gonna cut right through here, all the way down, right through here, all the way down, and literally, yeah, just tear it all up. Tear it all right up. So I'm gonna grab that Sawzall and just chop away. And I gotta do exactly the same thing over on the other side. It's underneath the plywood over here. I gotta take out those sections entirely. When I went and I bought the pieces to replace all that, I didn't quite realize how that all went together, but I've already got everything I need. So it's just a matter of making room for the new pieces to fit. So clear out all the junk. Make some cuts, here we go. Well, that was all it took to get that out. Oh my God. Yeah, that's completely toasted. That rocker is just done. Wow, okay. Well, that makes it a lot easier to cut through this. That's gonna make it a lot easier. Geez, there's not much metal left. There's like nothing left. All right, well, let's just keep cutting. You know, as I had said, there wasn't much holding that together. I mean, that took seconds to cut that all away. Unfriggin' believable. Wow. Gotta do the same thing on that side. I'll just hold the Sawzall upside down, cut up, and then try to tear the pieces out. I don't want to cut too much out of the side wall, however, because it looks like the lower section of the wall is actually good. I don't see any rust holes in that. But the rocker that's underneath it, lower than the floor, that whatever's down there is going bye-bye. All right, keep chopping. While the camera was off, I just started to grab these little pieces in here where the cuts were completed through the floor, and I just pulled up on them and pushed them down, and they split. They broke right off the rockers. So all those little pieces that were in there, I guess it was about 4 or 5 of them, every one of them just fell out. And you can see the line, the rusty line where they were attached to. Some of the rocker came off with it. Some of them just broke off as they were. So that whole section, as we know, is going to be replaced. It's all going to be removed, replaced, rebuilt. I got a little ahead of myself. I wanted to record me pulling them out, but they came out so easily that I just didn't start the camera and kind of missed the footage on that. But yeah, let's get the chipping hammer and see how much of this pieces we can knock out. See if we can get them stripped off the bottom here. All right, let's go. After doing a trial here, it looks like most of these welds are still holding on pretty damn good. This is going to take a long time. The same process as me removing the floor pans. You just get up underneath the metal. Keep on going and just knock them loose. So yeah, like I said, this is gonna take a long while, and I gotta stop my light from vibrating itself off. Anyway, we'll be back in a couple hours. Well, that turned out to just be a whole lot more work than I expected. The whole cross member up over here, that whole thing was shot. The outriggers that were underneath it, as well as the little box that goes in the middle here, all gone. Some of these tubes, they were all attached to it or crossed through it in certain ways. There was no way for me to get it off without cutting the tubes, so the tubes are gone too. Some of these tubes, I just started to break them or cut them off because it just wasn't worth my time to try to save these rusty old pieces of garbage. There's also 2 more cross members over here. You can see where they used to be, right there. They were also shot. The one here in the back was the worst. This one wasn't in too bad a shape, but when I started to try to peel off the old floor from it, it was poking holes through the top of it. I don't know if it was because it was compromised from rust or if it was just in bad shape, but I cut it out in minutes by just running the sawzall through it and just ripping the pieces out. So I'm just going to drop a new outrigger in there, and I decided it wasn't too big of a deal because outriggers are really cheap, and the cross members that go across here are only like $35–40 each, so it was in my best interest to just tear it up as I did. Much time was saved by doing it the way I did it, so I'm very happy with that. And of course we got a plane flying over, as always when I'm trying to do something here. Anyways, that's where we're at. I got friggin' mosquitoes all over me, so we're gonna wrap it up. Licky, likey, comment, subscribe, pluck that dingle belly. We get updates every time I upload a video. Don't forget to check out duckshit.net for all my different social media links. B, unfortunately, had to leave. Karmann Ghia is over there, but she was working on that at the same time I was working on this, so we recorded 2 videos today. I'm pretty excited about that. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. We'll be back. Well, I do my morning after walk around on these things every time I make some major progress on one of these vehicles. And if you know what I'm talking about, it's after you've got time to sleep on it, after you've thought about it long enough, the next morning you got a clear mind, and let's see if you made a mess out of what you were doing the night before. And there's been a lot of times where I completely shifted path in a project because I was just dissatisfied with the way some of these things went on. But looking in here, everything actually looks pretty damn good. Now that I can see where the daylight's coming through, you can see where the rust is lower than that of the floor. And it looks like I can draw a pretty good straight line there, and I can weld together 2 good pieces of metal. Gonna need a little repair there in the corner. This whole section through here, completely gone. That's gonna all need to be refabbed. There also is a piece of frame in there that needs to be replaced, so we're still working on that. Over here, again, looks pretty good. We got good solid metal to weld to, except for there, and a little spot in there. And of course I'm going to patch those holes because the stock heater's not going back. But all in all, I think that's pretty good. I got to build me a parts list now and get some new things ordered, because some of these beams in here, our cross members, are, well, they're gone. And because of that, this area in here, I was going to cut this out next, but without this cross member in here to reinforce this area, I didn't feel comfortable doing that, because this is actually what's holding up the seat pedestals and stopping them from caving in. So that's the only thing that's left there anymore that's still anything that's of structure. So I'm going to stop right here. No more cutting on the front end in this general seat area until then. Alright, I guess what's left is I might be able to jump into the back there and see what we can cut up back there. But otherwise, that puts a break on things for Gregory, at least for the moment, until some new parts arrive from CIP1. Forgot to mention, I also saved this. This is the little door catch that goes down in here. I have not found a replacement part for it yet. I'm sure they exist, but again, I haven't found one. So I'll be able to cut this one free from the old floor and get it welded back in. Looks like it's a little worn, but it's nothing that a welder and a little bit of grinding can't repair. So, there it is. And when I was cutting in the rear frame, fuck it.